random chunk from the archives.
Oh,
How can you say that? You look fabulous there,
bit
Toyah.
early in the morning.
Just talk us through that particular outfit.
Oh, I remember it so well. That was August 1981, Thunder in the Mountains. It went to #4, and that was my favouriteest look of all time.
That was my favourite of yours, definitely.
John Swannell, who works with all the supermodels, kind of created that look, and it was beautiful. I mean, it was freaky weird at the time, but beautiful.
Well, I think in a funny kind of way at the time, it wasn't freaky. I mean, it wasn't freaky weird in everything that was going on at the time. I mean, looking back on it, I dare say, you know, if you see that for the first time now, people will go, "What?
Oh, yeah,
what were you
possibly.
thinking about?" But in context at the time, it's quite a weird time, wasn't it?
It was a very weird time because back then there were very few women in the record industry. There was few executives. There was quite a shortage of women singers. You know, not like today where women are dominating the industries. But if you were a woman, you were expected to have a certain normality about you. You know, cute, rather flowery, rather girly. And then I came along and I was a complete tomboy. So it was a bit freaky in that sense.
I think it was totally, you know, because I remember watching it and I remember it so vividly. And first of all, you know, people knew it was you for starters, didn't they?
Yeah.
There was no kind of messing about with that, and it was sort of inspirational.
Absolutely no one 32 years ago had pink hair or tattoos. I never went the tattoo route, but I was one of the first to kind of come out with all the coloured hair and everything. And buses would stop and people would shout at you and taxis would stop and shout at you because they thought you were utterly mad.
Do you mean in a good way? They were shouting kind of...
Not in the beginning. It was quite offensive in a way because it was pre-punk when I started dyeing my hair. And then I became very, very famous and everyone knew that if they saw someone with pink hair, it was Toyah.
Yes.
So, and it was that unusual.
Now, not your first love, the music, really, acting in a way.
I started in acting. I started at the National Theatre when I was 18 and I did period costume drama at the BBC when I was 19.
Oh, well, I wish we had pictures of that.
I worked with David Hemmings, Diana Dawes, who else? I've worked with Olivier, Katharine Hepburn gave me one of my first film roles.
So you kind of come full circle in a way.
Yes.
And you've come back now to I know you've done quite a lot of stage work recently, but now you have this show, which is basically you.
No, it's three of us. It's Hormonal Housewives. It's a three-hander, written as stand-up comedy. There is Sarah Jane Buckley on the screen now, myself, and the writer Julie Coombe in the pink tracksuit, who's fantastic. She's had experience as a stand-up comedian, and we have got rid of that invisible wall between us and the audience, and we talk directly to the audience.
Is it scripted?
It's scripted, but there's events where we have to come out of script and improvise because so much goes on, because the women in the audience, and to every 1,000 women we have about 6 men, they are so reactive to what we're saying because it's about them. It's about them in their homes. It celebrates women of all ages, all diversities, and they shout back at us. So we have to be ready to get in there and say, yay! So it is scripted.
Is it? It sounds a bit of an intimidating place for a man to be.
Do you know, I'd like to say yes it is, but we worship men on that stage. And it's quite a naughty show, and we're very honest and direct. And I think what shocks the men in the audience is that women can be funny, because men don't think of women as being funny.
I'm loving the matching tracksuits as well, for starters. Toyah.
Oh, yes.
And it's called Hormonal Housewives. You don't mind being called, referring to yourself as a hormonal housewife?
Oh, come on, I'm 55 this year. I'm way the other side. No, I don't mind at all. Absolutely not. And we play ourselves to begin with, and then we do these sketches. We play 6 different characters throughout the show, and we try and cover a very large spectrum of experiences women have in their normal everyday lives, from competitive mums at the school gate, being bad at the gym, trying to find love in old age, and I mean old age, you know, kind of 70s upwards. So, and everything's just a little bit naughty.
Can I ask you about, you talk about wacky things.
Yes.
You were the voice of Teletubbies, weren't
Oh, yeah.
you? Now, when you first kind of they told you kind of the idea, But that's quite bonkers, isn't it? I mean, when that first emerged, people were like, what on earth is this?
Well,
this place, this thing?
I did all the voices for Brum, and the same creator as
yes.
Teletubbies.
I know
so
well.
the producer asked me to come and have a look at the pilot for Teletubbies. She was quite concerned it wasn't going to work. And I went to see it, and I thought it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen. I thought, at last, something that matches the Magic Roundabout.
Ah, yes, of course.
And she said, would I do the voice? And I said yes. And that 5 minutes work, because I only took 5 minutes, was the most global thing I've ever done.
Was it?
Because it went global
Everywhere,
immediately.
Of course.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're still performing as well, music and.
Oh, the band, everything, yeah, but I've got another 30 shows of
Right,
Hormonal
okay.
Housewives to do. They're routing me all over the place. They're routing me Southampton, High Wycombe, Dundee. So it's like that all over the country.
Yeah, I know you've not been terribly well. Are you okay? Because you
I'm
had a
out the other
virus,
side.
didn't you?
I had a virus, and I'm getting really well now. My
Yeah.
strength's back, so it's been quite an experience.
Oh,
yeah.
poor you. But you're
Lovely to see you this morning.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Good luck with the play. You're clearly loving it. So.
And reminder, you can see Toyah Hormonal Housewives touring the UK until the end of May. Men well.